Hey there, GregVWorld. Thanks so much for joining me. Today I want to share with you the very first place I came to get a shot of a bird when I moved to the valley 3 years ago, and that's this place right here. So I've been a photographer for years, not much of a nature photographer, more of a landscape photographer, if anything like that. But as soon as I moved to McAllen, it became apparent that I was going to need to be a bird photographer because that's just what they do here. So I Googled myself where to get a shot of a bird, and Edinburg Scenic Wetlands and World Birding Center came up, which is where I am at now. And I was standing right here in this little gazebo place. An old couple was right here, and they had a scope. They were right here, actually. They had a scope and binoculars, and I said, "Hey, I'm new at this. What are you looking at?" And they said, "Oh, right over there," which is about 100 yards away, is a green kingfisher. So I took my little camera, which at the time was if you want to nerd out on cameras for a second, it was a Canon 6D full frame with a 70 to 200 millimeter f4 lens. Not a lot of reach if you know anything about cameras. The camera I use now has an effective range of about 1,000 millimeters with a crop sensor. So that was not a great camera, but I think I did punch out a distinguishable shot. I'll share that now if I did. I don't honestly remember. Anyway, after talking to the old folks, they made it clear that, yeah, I was in a good place if I want to see some birds. And it's never disappointed me. Edinburg Scenic Wetlands always comes through with something. Hey there, Greg coming at you from the future. I thought before we proceed, I should talk a little bit about the history of Edinburg Scenic Wetlands and World Birding Center. By the way, it is Edinburg, not Edinburg. I don't know why I keep on calling it Edinburg. I've lived here in Texas for some time. I know it's Edinburg, but for some reason I keep on calling it Edinburg. Also, it's also named after the city in Scotland, I believe, which is Edinburgh. But this Edinburgh spelled G, and the one I think in Scotland is spelled GH. None of that really matters. Anyway, a little history. Back in 2003, the city of Edinburgh took reclaimed farmland and transformed it into something extraordinary, the Edinburg Scenic Wetlands and World Birding Center. As the very first site in the World Birding Center network, it turned ordinary water ponds into thriving wetlands right in the heart of the city. Today, this 40-acre sanctuary is home to winding trails, butterfly gardens, and quiet ponds that attract hundreds of species of birds, butterflies, and dragonflies. The Edinburg Scenic Wetlands isn't just a park. It's a living showcase of conservation, education, and the natural wonders of the Rio Grande Valley. What? Yeah, I just said that. I just said it. I just knew it. Shut up. Okay, if you go to edinburghwbc.org, you'll see their website. It has a lot of information about when you can go there, what you can do there, calendar of events. Definitely something you need to check out, especially since I have no information available for that sort of thing within this video. So if you want to find out more about that, you should go to this website right now and check it out. All right, let's get back to the video. So when you come here to Edinburg Scenic Wetlands and World Birding Center, there's got to be a shorter thing I can call that for the duration of this video. How about Edinburg Scenic Wetlands? There is ample parking. I mean, the parking lot's kind of small, but it's usually ample. I've never seen it full. And anyway, right next door is parking for the Edinburg Municipal Park, which surrounds this whole area, and there's plenty of parking. I usually park over there in the corner where it's shaded. When you come in the park, the very first thing you're greeted with is this lovely fountain. I have sat over here in this spot many times in the shade just to try and get a shot of a bird bathing in that thing, and I have several times. I've also got a shot of some Inca doves getting it on right there in the pavement in front of the fountain. There's that. Anyway, it's very nice, even on a very hot, miserable day like today. It's August 20 something, it's 90 something degrees, and the humidity is 5,000. I don't know, but it's immediately a nice place to be. As you come in, it's got a little hut here on the right. Sometimes you pay here, and sometimes they have you pay down at the other place, so I'm not sure if somebody's in here or not. Yeah, it looks like it's saying booth is closed. Okay, those nests up there, I think they're new. The ones that used to be up there, were a little more haggard. Those were, and I expect still are, although they're not shaped like melons or casabas like they usually are blue martin nests. And the very first time I successfully saw a blue martin were in that nest right here. I'm also not getting them on camera, but I've seen at least half a dozen little lizards scurrying by. I'm not a reptile specialist. I don't know what they are, but they're not just the standard brown anoles. They're like striped and bigger and different varieties. So you can get immediately lost in the paths here. That's one nice thing I like about the park. Unfortunately, being so accessible and being so enjoyable, it's also a great place to bring kids. When I say unfortunately, I mean for me, if you come here for serious photography and there's a lot of kids coming around, that's not your best day for photography. But you can usually find a discreet little corner where you can hang out, and that's just not a problem. If I'm honest, I don't think I've gone to all the paths in this park. And it's not a big park. It's a really small park, actually. I don't know the actual acreage, see here, but they've designed it in such a way that it's curvy and pathy enough that it gives the illusion that it's secluded and you wouldn't know that you're right smack in the middle of Edinburg, Texas. I mean, if you look from the drone shots, you can tell this is not out in the middle of nowhere. It's well within the city limits. I can hear kiskadees, I can hear cicadas. It's summer in Texas. You're always going to hear cicadas, I feel like. They do have these covered areas. I have come through here before, and there are kids' parties and whatnot going on in here. So, again, it's a community center, right? It's a community place. Let's go in here and pay. Oh, and if you happen to ride your e-bike here and you don't have enough charge to get back, you can go over there. I happen to know from personal experience, there's a plug and they'll let you charge it. I mean, they did that day. I don't know if they always do that. Let's go in here, see stuff. World's largest heron behind me. This place is usually just what I'm seeing right now. I imagine there are events here and things that they do for kids' education and whatnot. Right now it's just empty, and it's a nice place where you can buy a drink and pay to get in, which is what I'm going to do now. But the very nice ladies, very informative. They also have nice candies to be had and wooden bird magnets.
So go ahead to edit.
Anyway, I'm renewing my annual pass because it has expired. Oh, I have another question.
Yeah.
So I've always thought that you open at 8, you close at 5. That's hard if you want to come in here for bird photography because that's a little too late. And then I saw something somewhere that said you have birding early hours. How does that work?
So the park does open at 6 a.m., but we start charging. The register opens at 8 a.m. You can be here from those hours, as we just ask that you pay the admission fee.
But how do you even get in? Because the front gate's clocked.
In the weekdays, our groundskeepers do open them at 6 a.m.
Oh.
So the parking lot and the front gates are open. It's just that the full-time staff.
I get it.
The registers don't open.
That's awesome.
Yes.
And I'm so glad. Has that always been the case or just recently? Because
I think just recently.
I've been coming here for years. And I always call, what time we open? We don't open so late. I didn't have that information, so that was good to know.
Okay.
The ladies were very sweet and knowledgeable, as they always are in these places. Everyone's super friendly and super helpful, and they're state employees. They can't be getting paid a ton, or a city employee, but they just seem to be really good at what they do, which is nice. Another really great place I like is this little, where you, before you get to the main pond, there's a little covered, like swampy looking area, and I've got my first best shot of a yellow-crowned heron right there, just standing there forever. And there's almost always a duck in here or something that you can get a shot of, and it's just a cute little area. So let's check it out. I am hearing a bird that I do not recognize, which isn't saying a lot. There's a lot of birds I don't recognize, but usually around here I do. Oh, whistling ducks, babies. I think that was a whistling duck in distress. It was the call I didn't recognize. I did not bring my proper camera today because it's high noon. I'm seeing so many birds. Warbler, kiskadee, black-bellied whistling duck, bunch of black-bellied. You can always see a black-bellied whistling duck or two here. Oh, I was going to say I didn't bring my camera because it's hard to do this and share with you the things I know and love about the places I go when I carry a big camera and concerning myself with getting shots that day. So I'm not concerning myself. Although invariably when I do that, I see lots of great opportunities that I'm missing right now. Kiskadee! Usually when you come up to the south end of that park, you can usually sneak up here right after you go through that little covered area and get you a shot of some egrets hanging out right here. I don't see any today. I see none. I don't see one. The one thing you can always count on when you come to this park is that you will see an egret, a heron, or a pelican, or a duck. I mean, I've never come here and not seen a variety of those, especially ducks. Ducks love it here because it's deep water, apparently loaded with whatever ducks like, because I always see a lot of ducks here. Hey, ducks. Black-bellied ducks are the prime duck that I see here, but they're all varieties of ducks. I've seen all kinds of ducks. I saw a little grebe nest here last year. If I could lean over and kind of get a picture of. Okay, this is what I'm calling the main lake. I think it's the North or South Lake. See here? It's just the main lake. It's right here next to the main structure, whose name I also don't know. It's just the only large structure on the premises. And there's a path that goes all the way along this, and right now it appears to be open all the way to the end. A lot of times they close the northern side of the path off for reasons I don't understand. But today you can't go all the way to the end. Usually at the end there, they have like some concrete structures in the water, and often pelicans, cormorants, and the things that look like cormorants whose name I can never remember. Man, I wish I had brought my camera. Yellow-rumped warbler just flew away. I'm just gonna take my word for it. Okay, about halfway along the path along the main lake to the left, you'll see this kind of what I call the side lake. Pretty spot. And right here on this bench, which is shaded, is where I'll often come, set up my tripod, and try to see birds down in these mound groves down here and along the bushes. That's the kind of place where anhinga and most specifically kingfishers like to hang out. I got my first decent shot of a kingfisher right here. I've since got better shots of kingfishers, but it's a great little place to just chill out. I just saw some chachalakas. This is also a pretty good place to get a shot and an eye on some chachalakas. Look at this flock of ducks. I don't think I've seen so many black-bellied whistling ducks in one spot before. Oh, and there's just as many over. What is going on today? It's a black-bellied whistling duck convention. Try not to spook all these ducks. Really wishing I had my camera. I know there's nothing rare about a black-bellied whistling duck, but I've never seen that many together, like ever. There's just hundreds of them, at least dozens. Oh, and there they are what they're doing famously, which is standing in a tree, which always knocks me out. The first time I saw one in a tree, I'm like, is that a duck in a tree? I didn't know ducks did trees. I thought they always just kind of hung out on the ground and in lakes and ponds, not trees. Yes, this is a very nice spot to chill out. Ooh, I just remember I'm on limited time today to show you around, so I should get a move on. Let's walk to the end of this lake and see what we can see down here. I gotta tell you, I'm just so excited to know that you can come here at 6:30 in the morning. I did not know that. I just assumed because the gates were shut whenever I come. Well, again, famously, I used to never come in the morning to go birding. I used to come in the evenings because it suited my sleeping habits. Now I know if I really want to get a shot of a good bird and activity and a good light, you got to come in the morning. The evening's okay, but not nearly as good as the morning. Also, right back here in this bush, I got a shot of a family of brown birds, whose name I cannot remember. I'll show you now. Okay, Okay, that is the gate that's often closed. More often than not, in my experience. I have to say, I haven't been here for about, it's been almost a year, really. It's just been a while. I've become more consumed with Santa Ana and Benson for whatever reason. I have kind of forgotten what a great little spot this is. And I'm glad I just got my annual pass again because, yeah, it's nice. Okay, so here's a little outcropping I can rarely go to because it's, like I say, not usually open. When I come, that's just been my experience. Maybe that's not the case. I don't know. I'm also saddened by the fact that in addition to having a very interesting sky today for photography, it's not brutally hot and the wildlife is abundant. The wind is also super slow, so look at the reflection coming off this lake. I mean, oh, this would have been such a great day to go do bird photography. Rats. Oh, there is that structure I was talking about. There's like a concrete structure all along here where I will often see pelicans hanging out the right time of year. Just saw my first egret way across the lake. You're not gonna be able to see that if I point that direction. But I've never not seen an egret here. There's always a flock egret hanging out here. And you can walk all the way to the end of here past this, but as I recall, there's no real access to the lake. There's no real, just more of this, right? And since I'm a little short on time today, I'm not gonna take you down there. Also, I do remember I've spent some time. Is it still there? Yeah, okay. See that cactus right there? I thought that would be a perfect spot to catch a good shot of a bird. So I sat here on this bench for about an hour with a really good light. Never happened, but that's the way bird photography is. As I'm getting better at it, it's more about being patient than stumbling upon a bird. I'll often stumble upon a bird that I can't get a shot at because it's the wrong light or the wrong bird, whatever. And I've often stumbled across birds that I could get a shot of, but more often than not, the good shots I got were me sitting and waiting for the bird to come to me, whether that's a feeder or just a great spot that I know birds are going to come to. And I'm discovering more and more that's what any good nature photographer is about, is knowing where to be and being there to get that shot. It's less about rooting around and trying to find things, which is my typical MO. I'm a root arounder. Okay. You do have the option of turning right. I've walked down there a few times. I don't really see much ever. I think there's a little opening right here you can see. Again, I don't come in here a lot because, again, I'm telling you, the 12 times I've been here, 8 of those times that thing was closed. This looks to me to be a great little sitting and waiting spot. You got a good shot of some of these mangroves down here. It's shady. Yeah, this is a good spot. I'm gonna have to come here. You don't have as much access to the lawn to see how way down the lake, but you do have access to mangroves, good tree line, good shady spot, and kind of off the beaten path. So, yeah. This place. But I have to be back to my car in exactly 15 minutes. So, rats. That is what a lot of whistling ducks sound like. So I should point out, I came here last week at 8 o'clock on a Sunday. Couldn't get in because I didn't realize the park didn't open until noon. So at that time, I went across the street and there's a pond that's outside the confines of this park, just across the street, fairly large. It's kind of a jogging path. People jog around it. Didn't think I was going to see much. I got some interesting shots of a duck chasing an egret. Really interesting shots. I got a shot of an unfortunate critter that got its stuff hung up in. Do I have time for this? Anyway, when I was out at this lake, I went out to the pier, and there was some poor creature just kind of hung up in the host, being hung by the fishing line. By the way, there's no fishing allowed anywhere around here, so proper condemnation to whoever did that. An old lady pointed it out to me, and she said it's a duck, and I looked at it and I'm like, that's not a duck. And then with closer inspection, I realized it was a raccoon, a juvenile raccoon, and the poor little thing was just hung up. And the best I could do was crawl down there and cut it loose, and then it kind of hobbled away from me really quick around the pole where I couldn't reach it. And I'm just hopeful that the poor thing was able, now that it was cut down from the pole, could bite off the line that it was wrapped up in. But that was sad. But the point I was making is, even though this place was closed, across the street, very interesting wildlife, including a wild kitty that I got shot up. And like I say, some of the best shots of the year was that duck chasing that egret, or that heron. No, egret. It was an egret. Apparently ducks don't like them around because, I guess, I didn't know this, larger egrets and herons are known to eat baby ducks. Ugh. Anyway, that's that story. So now I'm heading toward the exit on another route from which way I came in. It's also, you can turn in here anywhere, anytime you want. It becomes more of that meandering path stuff. I'm trying to get on more of a straight trajectory because now I'm realizing I'm kind of in a hurry. But it's a nice path. You can still see the lake in spots. Oh, and there's this old shack here which has been condemned for as long as I've been coming here. And then there's just more features for kids and stuff to play at and sit down. Okay, who's doing the show? You guys go first. So they've got a nice little cutout stage, I guess a kid could play in. And then pretty much you come out to the exit. Again, this is a good place to always pause because there is that purple martin nest, and they typically have hummingbird bird feeders, but I don't see any. And they do have a feeder that's usually manned by doves, which it is right now. Anyway, this is a great little spot. Props to the city of Edinburg for making it possible. And it's definitely a place, if you're just going to come to the valley and you don't have a lot of time, or really even a lot of skill to maybe try to seek out where these birds are in Santa Ana and Benson and some of these other places, you can come here because it's pretty accessible and they're just right there. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, and I'd love to see you next time. Quick note, next week Kim and I are driving from South Texas to Virginia. So I'm going to do a little bit of videoing on that. It's not going to be anything about birds or probably even photography. So I hope you'll join me. See you then.